I don't know if this has happened to you or if it's gone through your head, but sometimes looking at the world situation as we have it right now, I've had some people approach me and say, Father, I really wonder if God is trying to punish us because of all of these things that are going on. I want to say a couple things about that. One, for those people who think that way, thank you for thinking. Thank you for praying through these things, because it is a difficult time in some sense. It's weird to look at the world we have and have to deal with all the situations we're dealing with. And on the other end, I want to offer you a word of hope. Listen again to those words from the first reading. Comfort, give comfort to my people, says your God. According to biblical scholars, the book of Isaiah is divided into 3 sections. Chapters 1 through 39 are pre-exile, before the Babylonians came, destroyed the temple, took everybody off into the land of Babylon. And what we heard in the first reading was chapter 40, which, according to scholars, begins the second section of the book of Isaiah, where they're in exile, which could very much be like how we might feel right now with all of the things we have to deal with. Because we can't do the things we want, we can't live the way we want. And the first words of that first chapter, if that's really the second part of Isaiah, where they're all in exile, are comfort, give comfort to my people, says your God. And then some of the next words that come are these famous ones that are echoed in Mark's gospel today. I am sending my messenger ahead of you. He'll prepare your way. A voice crying in the desert, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight the paths. Because you have to have a good road, a good solid foundation to be able to travel along. And so there's somebody who's going along and preparing this road for us. I think one of the most beautiful things about this time of Advent is we're preparing, of course, remembering that Christ came as a child, but we're also remember that he's coming in glory. This whole season should be a reminder that we as Christians are constantly preparing the way, most especially in our hearts. And if nothing else, I hope that this weird life situation we've been in for almost a year now can be a constant reminder of how much more preparing can go on in our hearts. And that should be, in a sense, comforting. One of the graces of, we didn't get to have Mass here last week, but one of the graces I experienced in having the coronavirus and now being out is a renewed joy in working. Because I was 2 weeks, I was with my roommate, but we were very much isolated, very much alone. And sometimes, I don't know if this happens to you, but the humdrum of life can really get to you. And when all of that is taken away, even my normal work and ministry, it created a bit of longing in me. And so praise God I get to be with you all today. The Lord, I think, through even these weird times, can continue to prepare our hearts for his coming. And I think another thing that was brought to my mind as we were dealing with all these things is, again, it's very hard to find a priest. If 2 or 3 of us are out in this city, there's really nothing we can do. And so, again, we didn't have Mass here last weekend. And so, as we look at the world situation we have with vocations, with committed Christians, maybe across the world, maybe this can be a moment to prepare the way for the Lord in discerning in our own hearts, what is the Lord calling each and individual heart to? Because we need more priests. We need more committed young people who are devoted to sharing the gospel. We need more witnesses in religious life who are willing to lay down their lives and be a radical witness to the world. And of course, we need good and holy marriages and good and holy families to raise up young ones in the faith to be able to be those missionaries who are sent out into the world. So friends, even though this year has been weird and difficult, there is hope. So long as we're continuing to prepare the way for the Lord in our hearts. Because even in exile, God wanted to tell his people that I want to give you comfort. And the only comfort that's going to be lasting and building is one focused on Christ.